What is going on, people? Hit it again. We gotta get hyped up. We gotta get hyped up. It's the second episode, right? We gotta get hyped up just a little bit. Let's see here. I feel like my lights are not bright enough. Hold on one second. I'm gonna turn my bright lights up real quick. I just feel like we're not getting as much light as we're supposed to get. You know what I'm saying? I got new lighting, so it's all different. How's that look? Feels a little better, don't it? Yeah, we're gonna do that one. Yeah, all right. Welcome to Wednesdays. My name is Nick. I am your host of this beautiful new podcast that I just started last week. This is episode 2. If you're new, which everyone is, I talk about football, I talk about wrestling, I talk about Pokemon, gaming, movies, all bunch of other stuff. This week, I have a lot more football stuff to do. We had a huge week in wrestling. That was really fun. I had my boy Jeff over. Shout out to Jeff. We split some little Caesars, and we had a good time. It was we had 2 shows on Saturday and 1 show on Sunday. Hit or miss on the shows, but let's start with football as we usually do. With football, we have a couple things here. We are now 50 days away from the kickoff of the season, the official kickoff, the Thursday, September 4th kickoff. I can't remember exactly. Hold on, I'm turning on the board. Oh, it's the Cowboys and the Eagles playing on Thursday Night Football. I believe that's not the Amazon Prime, but it's like NBC game or something like that, which would be cool. 2 of our rivals. Let's see if the Eagles can kind of keep up this year. I mean, they won last year, so it's not like it's a thing, but they let's see if they can be as strong as they were last year. I hope not, to be honest. I got the W1. That's me. That's who I am. ESPN dropped a top 10 quarterbacks list. I'm not sure who exactly at ESPN dropped this, but this was like heavily talked about in the sports radio sphere of things. They got my guy Jaden Daniels in his sophomore year at top 5. Number 5, right there. Number 5's a number 5. Looking at the list, the really only thing I think I would change would probably to be switching Herbert. If you're an audio listener, number 10 is Baker Mayfield. Number 9 is Jalen Hurts. Number 8 is Jared Goff. Number 7 is Justin Herbert. Number 6 is Matthew Stafford. Number 5 is Jaden Daniels. Number 4 is Lamar Jackson. Number 3 is Joe Burrow. Number 2 is Josh Allen. And number 1 is Patrick Mahomes. Again, I don't really have an issue with the top 5, really. I mean, Jaden being up there, you could have an argument that it is only he's going into his second year, and he's, maybe hasn't earned that as well as like maybe some guys like Stafford or Herbert or Goff, but I mean, the way he played last year, he brought a team, with the entire team, but brought a whole team into the NFC Championship, and that's something to look at, Again, I think I would change Stafford and Herbert if it was me picking quarterbacks. I feel like with Stafford being older than he is, I'm looking at this more as like if I was picking a team type of thing. If I was making a team or gonna create a team based around a guy, I think Stafford's probably not really there with Herbert. I guess I'm not really sure, but otherwise, I think this list is pretty good. I can't really think of anyone who could be on this list that isn't on this list per se. I think this is probably the first list that ever actually puts Jalen Hurts in kind of where he fits in. I see a lot of lists that put Jalen Hurts in like the top 5, and I just don't think he's that guy. I think he has a lot of weapons on his fucking team, and that's what gets him to be as good as he is. I think he is good. I think he belongs in this list, but I don't think he belongs in the top 5 with Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, guys like that. I really don't. Let's see what else is up. Nope, moving too fast. The Commanders are going to retire Art Monk's number 81 jersey on week 9 of the Seattle Seahawks game. This is a home game on Sunday Night Football. This is also where they're going to be wearing the jerseys that I talked about last week that he's wearing in the middle picture there. This is really cool. I wasn't obviously around for any of that stuff. If you don't know, Art Monk was there for all of the Super Bowls that the Commanders had won. He's one of my dad's favorite players. And I think this is really good. I like the notion that we are retiring numbers now. The Washington franchise has always been kind of notorious for kind of just like unofficially retiring numbers, and I think it's really weird. They would basically just take it out of the rotation of like letting players pick the numbers rather than just officially retiring it and not letting anyone ever use it. And because there's guys like Joe Theismann who, like, I feel like they don't really give that number 7 to anybody because of Joe Theismann, and they, on special permission, let Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace, wear that number when he was here. But I think this is a better step, and I think this organization is doing better things while retiring the number officially. So I'm talking about Garrett Wilson and his new 4-year, $130 million contract extension that includes $90 million guaranteed. The only reason I'm really bringing this up is because I want to talk about what I talked about last week, which was pay Terry McLaurin. If a guy like Garrett Wilson, in my opinion, who I do not think is as good or as valuable to their team as Terry McLaurin is to the Commanders, can get a contract, I feel like Terry McLaurin can get something in that level. I did the math, and I believe it's $130 million for 4 years would be around $32 million. So, I mean, that seems like a good price to me. After hearing more and more about this Terry deal, I think it's more about how many years. Excuse me. I think it's more about how many years are on the contract rather than what the dollar number amount is. I think they're looking at him. He's about to turn 30 here soon. I think they're, maybe worried about him getting older, I guess. As he tells it, he had a press conference yesterday where he was saying that he was very frustrated, but he also mentioned in that podcast, in that press conference, that he's very frustrated. He is a little disappointed with the team. He feels like he brings a tremendous value to the team, and I agree. I think he definitely should be paid. I made the whole episode around that last week. And I think the 32 million is a good number to me, especially for a guy like Garrett Wilson to get that number. I don't know about guarantees and 4 years. I'm not sure about any about that, but if it's me calling it like I'm seeing it right now, I think the separation and the disconnect between the team and Terry is probably the amount of years that will be on the contract extension. He's very frustrated. He's very disappointed. He also mentioned in the press conference that he has not spoken to the team in this regard in a month, and that kind of scares me. It seems really weird that your star receiver and your front office have not spoken about their new contract that needs to happen in a month, in 30 days, 31 days, whatever it's been. 4 weeks. I mean, that just seems like a really long time, especially us coming on the heels of training camp here. I believe they suit up on Friday. Like, they're supposed to be in the practice facility on Friday. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Again, this is a Payment Terry McLaurin podcast. I will be very upset if he gets traded away or something. I've seen a lot of mock trades that I just don't agree with. Like, I saw one today that was like, send Terry and Eckler and a late round pick for Breece Hall and a earlier round pick to the Jets. No, I don't want that. I just don't. I like Eckler, even though he's on the older side as well. But you know, I don't see that. I like Eckler, I like Terry, I like what they both bring, and I think Jaden needs to have some consistency coming into the second year. And with a new guy like Debo, there's no Diami, there's no any like the team is looking a little too different for these weapons. And I don't know, I just feel like Terry is a huge part of this puzzle, to be honest. I really think he just needs to be here. Let's move on to wrestling. There was a lot of wrestling this weekend. We had two. I don't know if you want to call Saturday Night's Main Event a PLE. I don't think they call it a PLE. I think it's just like a special. So we had a AEW pay per view going into a WWE special, and then having a WWE PLE on Sunday. That was all really fun. I'm gonna do some recaps of what we did with those. I saw this meme. It basically has the two dragons that are like really cool looking, and then the dumb dragon, and then it has All In and Evolution on the really cool dragons, and then Saturday Night's Main Event on the dumb dragon. I'll tweet this out. I think Dream Wrestling made it, so shout out to Dream Wrestling. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about these events this week. Saturday Night's Main Event was kind of whatever. It seemed kind of like a celebrity sideshow. There was a lot of things that kind of got messed up, which, and I don't fault anyone for that part of it, but it just kind of was what it was. While All In and Evolution were just amazing, like amazing. We can start with All In. That took place on Saturday. It was at 3:00 in the afternoon, so it was the first one of the weekend. Just a couple things here I wanted to point out. Adam Cole was supposed to fight Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship. Adam Cole found out day of, like morning of, maybe like a couple hours beforehand, that he wasn't able to wrestle. He wasn't medically cleared. This is really sad because he basically has been having all sorts of injury issues for, I want to say 2-3 years. Basically ever since he's gotten to the company, it's been bad. And I think he had some injury trouble in WWE as well, but it just seems like every time tries to do anything in AEW, it like becomes an injury thing. I think the longest run he had with anything was when him and NGF were best friends. And I loved that storyline, but that's the longest I can remember him being in AEW. It was a very sad moment. These are photos from it. With Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong giving him a huge hug after that. I mean, he was crying walking down to the ring to address us, and it basically felt like a retirement speech. He said in the speech that he wasn't in the headspace to retire, but it felt like a retirement speech. That's what it felt like. The only thing he didn't do was put his boots in the middle of the ring. I mean, that's what it felt like, and it's sad because, I mean, I don't even think he's 30 yet. Maybe he is 30. I don't know. Don't quote me, but I mean, he's a good dude, man. Like he's an awesome wrestler, and it sucks that we can't seem to get anything out of him. You know, I don't know. Prayers for Adam Cole. We'd love to see you return. That's pretty much it for that. Because Adam Cole couldn't wrestle, they turned it into a fatal 4-way between Kyle Fletcher, Sammy Guevara, Dustin Rhodes, and Daniel Garcia. That fatal 4-way was awesome. Dustin and Sammy are also the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions at the moment, and they wrestled earlier on the 0 hour, the pre-show of AEW, and it was really good. And then they turned around and wrestled each other essentially in this match, and Dustin ended up winning. When I saw that they were going to turn this into a 4-way, I immediately thought that Kyle would win, to be honest. I figured that was probably the initial idea. The plan was to make Kyle the TNT champion, and they decided to put it on Dustin, which I like it. I feel like he's probably at the end of his run here. He's probably doing a John Cena tour, just like John Cena is, you know? He's the TNT champion. He's the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion with Sammy, and he's a Sick Man Tag Team Champion with, I believe, with the Sons of Texas, the Von Erich family. So it's really cool. Shout out to Dustin Rhodes. I'm glad you're getting your flowers. I'm glad the company is doing right by you in this what feels like the end of it. Um, Maybe it isn't the end of it. I don't know. That's just what it feels like, you know. But he has 3 belts right now at 56 years old. So that's really cool. Man, these casino gauntlet matches, man, they were a trip. I did horrible predicting these last week. MJF made a lot of sense. I knew when MJF and Mark Briscoe were talking to each other and doing promos, I figured one of those two guys would probably walk away from this gauntlet match winning. But I think with the Anthony Bowens pick I made last week, I just figured maybe, you know, it would have been cool to see. That ended up not being the case, but that's okay with me. MJF is awesome. Him with the Hurt Syndicate is really cool. And him versus Hangman will be amazing. As well as Athena against, I guess she goes against Tony. Yeah, Tony won. So Athena versus Tony at some point. I'm not sure if they said when these title matches take place, but I'll be looking forward to them. Hurt Syndicate, Patriarchy, Jet Speed. Just wanted to touch on this one really quickly because the Patriarchy turned on Christian and Cope returned. Edge, Adam Copeland. He returned to help Christian, but then, you know, told him to go find himself, which was the opposite of what Christian told him the last time they talked. So that was pretty interesting. I know they've been kind of teasing that for a while now. But now that they finally done it, Nick Wayne, his mom, and Kip Sabian, is that who it is? They finally turned on him. It looks like Christian might be going face. It might be the end of the whole I'm your dad, father, patriarchy craziness. I fuck with it. I like it. Her Syndicate retained, which I got that one right. But I basically wanted to touch on the patriarchy thing. I mean, if it wasn't for the main event, this would have been match of the night for sure. Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay. Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay versus the Young Bucks. They all had crazy intros. Will came again with the whole Assassin's Creed thing. If he's not in the new game, at some point he needs to be, because they've been doing crazy promo with him. Swerve had Jojo Offerman sing before he came out, which was really cool. Jojo Offerman is the wife of late Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda. And that was really cool. I didn't know she was away from WWE or anything like that, so I thought that was really cool. And then the Young Bucks did a whole thing where they were like the founding fathers on a boat coming out. It was really cool. The inch is really cool. The match was really good. That's all I have to say about that. Swerve and Will won, so the Young Bucks lost their EVP titles. We'll see how that pans out. Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné. Toni Storm retained the Women's World Championship. That's really cool. Toni Storm is just amazing to watch. Both in the ring, out of the ring. It's awesome. I really thought Mercedes was going to win here. I figured, again, they were just giving her all the belts, so I figured that was just one more to give her. But Toni retained that, and she'll go on to face Athena at some point. If you haven't seen her post press conference after the show, you should definitely go check that out, because she like told a bunch of people to go fuck themselves. It's really funny. I didn't really have much to say about this match between Kenny Omega and Okada. I just thought this image was really funny. I'll show the image a little closer here if you can see it. It's just Okada holding up the Unified Championship as Omega's being helped out. And he's just ear to ear smiling. It's hilarious. But I just thought this was a really funny photo from that moment. Boy, what a Texas death match. I'll tell you what. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, if you get a chance, if you got like 20 minutes, go and watch this thing. I mean, it was incredible. Hangman Adam Page is easily becoming one of my favorites now. I never really thought of him as like more than anything. I just was like, he wasn't one of my favorites. I'll say that. But he's definitely like won my heart, I guess is how you can say it. I don't know, man. It's interesting. Um, the the image that came out of this though was pretty nuts. Um, Swerve doing this after school special ass pose. I don't know why he did this. This is after he helped Hangman win, essentially. Um, it's just a really funny photo. Saturday night's main event. I only have a couple things I want to say about this that kind of happened. Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll is supposed to make his in-ring debut on SummerSlam next month. That's really literally in a couple weeks. Apparently he's been in the Performance Center for like 3 to 4 weeks now, every day, training. He's been training with guys like, I guess Kevin Owens has been helping him, Undertaker, somebody else was helping him too. He showed up at Saturday Night's Main Event to help Randy, and him and Randy will face Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul at SummerSlam in a tag match. There's a lot of discourse about Jelly Roll joining WWE, and I've had a lot of conversations about Jelly Roll in this whole thing, and I don't have an issue with it. I've seen celebrities come in here in my time frame of being a fan, and I think the biggest thing with this is that Jelly Roll doesn't need WWE to promote him. I think he's huge name on his own, especially in 2025. Maybe 10 years ago, this probably would have maybe felt like a play, you know? I know fans are kind of upset just about, giving, celebrities time over, wrestlers that are on the main roster and stuff like that. And to that, I feel like partly that's a booking issue, but also it's more so like, I feel like if these particular wrestlers that you're caping for were as good as you say they are, then they would have this time. Jelly Roll getting this time brings a lot more eyes to WWE. I understand the play. I think you understand the play. I think you just don't like seeing celebrities come into your precious WWE. And that's fine, but I would just like everyone to kind of wait until he wrestles. Like, I think I have to attribute it to, or compare it to Bad Bunny a little bit, only because Bad Bunny is the most recent example to me. Bad Bunny came in here the same situation. He was tagging with Damian Priest, and he came in here and he was awesome. He was so awesome to the point where they made him fight Damian Priest at Backlash a couple years ago, and that was really cool. It was really fun. He's one of the greatest entrances ever, and he's really good. I mean, you could kind of say the same about Logan Paul. He came in here, and again, he was really good. They literally made him United States champion. I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at here. I'm sure in the past there's some celebrities who have come in here and haven't been good or whatever it is, or just kind of in and out. I get that. I understand that. I would just like everyone to hold their opinions until he wrestles. If he goes on SummerSlam and he's awful, then yeah, don't bring him back. But I'm okay with anyone coming in here if they truly love it, coming in here and wrestling. I really like. I'm okay to see anyone wrestle. Like, I like wrestling. I don't care who is wrestling all the time. I just want to see good wrestling and good stories and be entertained. I mean, that's what this is. It's the World Wrestling Entertainment. That's what I want to see. And even in AEW, I've seen celebrities come in and out there too. I'm very okay with that. Like, I don't understand what all the fuss is. I will hold my opinions until he wrestles. LA Knight and Seth Rollins fought, but it was interrupted by Seth Rollins doing a moonsault, and he came down and his knee buckled. He After it happened, he like kind of like pushed himself over, scooted over to the corner, looked at Paul, looked at the ref, and then a medical professional came over, and they all just kind of agreed that the match has to end. So that was a little weird. It didn't feel like it was a work. Like, excuse me. It didn't feel like it was a work. It really genuinely felt like, okay, something went wrong here. And LA hit him with a finisher, and that was it. It was very abrupt. It was weird. But Seth definitely came out on a show today and said that he was definitely injured. He thinks he'll be out for the foreseeable future. He's not a doctor, is what he said. He was hosting the Rich Eisen show, is when he said this. I believe he's going to be hosting it for the rest of the week or for a week or something like that. But he said that this morning, that he's not a doctor, but everything like that. So again, he's Mr. Money in the Bank right now. So kind of need him back at some point, but I mean, he's got a year, he's got a year until like June or July, whatever it is, to cash in. So I think he'll be back before then for sure. But I'll say it again. I really love his group. I don't know. They don't have a name yet. Him, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. I've really been loving their group. And prayers. Hope you get better. Please get better soon. Please come back. I'm missing you. Gunther versus Goldberg was the main event. It was a cool match. Definitely lasted longer than I thought. Definitely was better than I thought. The pay-per-view overall just really wasn't, especially with coming off of All In. Like, how do you follow All In? Basically, is kind of how I feel about this. And this isn't the way to follow All In. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was a cool match. I don't really have a lot to say about this. I know Gunther was a little. I'm sorry. I know Goldberg was a little peeved with the way it ended because he got cut off by NBC or whoever at the end when he was giving the speech. I noticed that. I kind of get it, but also just like I feel like sometimes your mouth puts you in positions. That's kind of what I'll say about that. How you act towards people is kind of what you get from people, So that's all I really had to say about that. I believe that's it for All In. Yeah. So we're moving on to Sunday, WWE Evolution, the all women's pay-per-view, PLE, whatever you want to call it. Really fun day of wrestling. A lot of good matches. Jade and Naomi was incredible, especially with even Jade getting the win here. I just Bianca did very well with everything. No holds barred. Again, I don't really have a lot to say about this one, but Stephanie Vaquer won the Battle Royale. She'll be facing somebody at Clash in Paris. I'm not exactly sure who it's supposed to be. I think it's going to be Tiffany or Naomi, maybe. We'll see how that works out. Clash in Paris is after SummerSlam, so we probably won't even know who she's going to face until later. But congrats to Stephanie. The match of the night, in my opinion, was when Naomi inserted herself with the Money in the Bank briefcase and won the women's championship there. Super cool. Was not expecting that at all. I think most people had her cashing in on Tiffany at some point. Maybe not the other night, but at some point, I think because of their previous engagements and all that. But this came out of the blue for me. When she came, I genuinely thought that even when she was cashing in, I thought Jade might intercept it and stop her from doing it. But then she cashed in, hit Io with the briefcase, and that was it. I mean, she won, Pretty good. Pretty damn good. Shout out to Naomi. I'm glad Naomi's finally getting her just due in the company. Yeah, really good. Roman Reigns appeared on Monday Night Raw last night, or a couple nights ago, and showed up with this T-shirt that said TC1. If you're not hip, when Roman came back after everything happened at WrestleMania, everyone was calling him OTC. He even had a shirt that said OTC, and it even got over with the crowd with OTC chants. I don't know why WWE is making this move or anybody's making this move to change it from OTC to TC1. I personally think that, you know, when the fans have something over, or the fans really like something, I feel like you shouldn't change it. Call me crazy, but I mean that OTC chant. I mean, it was ringing. They were doing it before he walked out, you know, and then he came out and then he had this shirt on. And I saw rumors that they might be doing this. It just didn't make sense to me. The rumors originally were going to be OTC1, but I don't think that that's what this was saying here. I think it's just TC1. I can show you closer. It just says TC. I don't think that Roman Reigns logo is supposed to be an O there. I think it's generally just supposed to be TC1. It's interesting. I don't know why you would change something that the fans like. Especially just something as simple as that. It doesn't really make sense to me. I can understand, you know, changing other things, but something that simple, like a chant or whatever it is, it's like changing Yeet right now. At this point, changing LA Knight's Yeah to something different. Like, no, don't touch it. Don't fix what isn't broken. I thought that was weird. I believe we have movies and shows now. Oh, I'm really excited about this one right here. The Office spinoff called The Paper is going to be releasing on September 4th. I've been counting down to this day because that's also when the NFL season starts. I bet you anything that with NBC having the Thursday Night Football game that they're going to show this right after it. I think that's really cool. It's going to be on Peacock, so maybe it's just Peacock exclusive, but I think that's really interesting. If you can see right there, hold on, I can show you. Right here, that is Oscar from The Office. That's really dope that he's returning. He announced on his Instagram earlier that he was returning, and he's playing Oscar. So that's really dope. Yeah, apparently the basis for this is that the same camera crew that came from The Office is now going to a paper, like a newspaper company in Toledo. So that's really interesting to see. Donald Gleason is a really dope actor. He played General Hux in Star Wars, in like the sequels. He's really good. He's played a bunch of other things. I believe he was in Black Mirror. He's really good. I don't really recognize a ton of the other actors, but I'm sure after watching this, I will. The Office is easily one of my favorite TV shows. I've probably watched it about 10 times all the way through. When Michael leaves, it's really hard for me to watch like the last like 2 seasons because it's just like Michael's such a big part of that show. But it's all great. But yeah, I'm really excited about this show here. This news dropped today that the live action Legend of Zelda has casted their Link in Zelda. Bo Bragison will be playing Zelda. I looked at her filmography. I don't know her from anything. She doesn't really even look familiar. Just looking at her optically, I could see where the Zelda-ness be coming from. Again, with these live action remakes or whatever it is, it's really important to me to be able to see the character in the actor, especially when it's a known visual thing. Maybe not necessarily from a book or something like that, but when it comes from like a video game as popular as Legend of Zelda is, you kind of want to have that look. And I think both these actors, the picture here really doesn't do it justice for Benjamin Ainsworth there. But he, you add some blonde hair, you give him some elf ears, and I think it'll work. Benjamin Ainsworth, I looked at his filmography. The only thing I could really see that was like a little bit relevant was the live action Pinocchio in 2022. He played Pinocchio. He voiced Pinocchio. So this is really cool. I didn't know they were doing this movie. I played older Zelda games like I don't know. I never know how to say this word. Ocarina of Time. Is that how you say it? and Majora's Mask. I played both of those on Nintendo 64 way back in the day. I'm dating myself here. I never played any of the new ones. I never got the new one on the Switch or anything. Maybe on the Switch too, I'll get it, but I haven't done that. So very excited for this. Loved Zelda and Link as characters. Link is definitely one of my people that I played on Super Smash Brothers. So my movie recommendation of the week is 12 Angry Men. This movie was originally released in 1957. This photo is from the 1997 version, starring James Gandolfini, Tony Danza, Edward James Olmos, a bunch of other guys, Jack Lemmon, a bunch of guys in this movie that are easily recognizable when you watch the movie. Essentially, it's about 12 men on a jury, and they're basically, it's like an 18-year-old kid is accused of killing his dad, and they go into the jury room and they basically, they just show the jury room, and 11 of the guys are all in on just sending this kid to jail and possibly death. And the one guy, Jack Lemmon, the guy way on the left sitting down, he has some reasonable doubts, and he goes through the process of trying to convince everyone that, he doesn't think he's innocent, but he doesn't think he's guilty either. Basically, there's just, the stories don't add up to him. So it's a very good movie. Again, it was made in 1997. It was shown on Showtime. It won a couple primetime Emmys. Again, James Gandolfini from The Sopranos, Tony Danza, Edward James Olmos. He's been a bunch of things, but I recognize him from Dexter. He played a professor who ended up like being a villain basically in the show. Very good movie. I am still currently watching Family Guy with my wife. We are having a ball watching it. It's just bringing back a lot of old memories. I think we're still in season 5. We've actually taken a break from watching Family Guy to start King of the Hill. King of the Hill is going to have a new season coming out, I think like in early August or something like that, on Hulu. And we just started watching that today, like maybe 2 hours ago. I've watched the first 3 episodes. It's super dry humor. It was made in 1997. So it's way back there. A lot of things are different. But it's super funny, super dry humor. My friends, Khan and Sheila, swear by it. So we're going to watch that and get ready for the new season, essentially. I also started the show The Quarterback, which this is the second season of the show. The first season had guys like, I believe, Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota. And the second season has Kirk Cousins again, Joe Burrow, and Jared Goff. Really, really cool show. Get a really in-depth look at these guys. I've only seen the first episode. Excuse me. I've only seen the first episode, so seeing Kirk Cousins again is really cool. As a Commanders fan, I have a lot of, I don't have personally a lot of history with Kirk Cousins, but the team does. And so knowing him, getting to know him more, especially with Jared Goff as well. As a Commanders fan, even though we beat the Lions last year, I root for the Lions a lot because I think they deserve to, win at some points. I really like Dan Campbell and everything. So getting to know Jared Goff a little more is really cool. And seeing Joe Burrow is interesting. He's kind of a weird dude. But I mean, I'm not gonna show so far. I'll let you know more about it once I get a little more into it. But yeah, I finally finished The Bear. I was rewatching the entire thing. I had started watching it when it came out. But I finally watched everything 1 through 4. This is a beautiful show. It got renewed for season 5. I can't wait to watch it again when season 5 comes out. Because I watched it by myself this time. But then after I watched it, I told my wife that she needs to watch it again because it is, it's really good and it's a beautiful watch. Really good storytelling. And when season 5 comes out, we'll probably just rewatch the whole thing and get hip because I stopped watching The Bear. And then I tried to watch season 3 just without anything. And like none of it was really making sense to me. And it's kind of hurting my head. But Yeah, no, it's a really good show. If you haven't seen it, it's on Hulu, FX, all that stuff. It's really good. Potpourri, anything goes. If you haven't seen the section like last week, this is literally just anything that doesn't fit into my already set up topics that I have. So there was a rumor that Uno was going to be placed into the casinos in Las Vegas. And everyone got a little like crazy about it, and they started posting memes about, when people start doing draw fours, like they're going to need to like level up their security. And Uno feels the same, essentially. Uno put out this statement a couple days ago. Hey Uno fans, a rumor has come to our attention that there will be Uno tables on the casino floors in Las Vegas. Sounds wild, huh? We hate to be the bearers of bad news, but the casino floor isn't ready for us yet. We've been told that while they do have tight security, it's not robust enough for Uno at this time. This isn't a reverse card. While we get this sorted out, the Uno Social Club is rolling out to bars in Los Angeles, New York City, Chicago, Atlanta, and Austin this August. Stay wild, the Uno team. Yeah, so they're not coming to casinos, like everybody was saying. Which, I mean, is cool, but I have seen these Uno social clubs popping up. I follow a guy named Mario Morante on TikTok, and he just had his birthday party there, which I thought was really cool. I think he worked literally with Uno to do this. Me and my wife are huge Uno fans. We collect Uno cards. We have a ton of different Uno cards, like a Super Mario one, like an 80s one, a 90s one, the Ultimate Edition, an NFL one. We have a ton of them. So we really love Uno. So we were kind of excited to see that, might be coming to casinos. There's actually a casino probably about an hour away from me up in Maryland, at the National, where is that? I don't know what that's called, but National Harbor, excuse me. It's at the National Harbor in Maryland. It's about an hour away from where I live. And it would have been cool to see if Uno was going to pop up at the casino, but that is not happening, unfortunately. But there are going to be some social clubs that are basically just Uno-themed clubs that I guess you can play Uno at. And that's really it for today. I appreciate everyone showing up and watching and listening. I think next week we'll have to really figure out what we're going to do. There's no real wrestling predictions or anything like that coming up. SummerSlam's not for a couple weeks, so we're just going to hope for the best. We're going to hope that Terry McLaurin gets paid and that we talk about his deal. We're going to hope that, some cool wrestling news comes back, like maybe some cool returns. Maybe they'll go back to the OTC thing instead of the TC1 thing they're trying to push on us. I appreciate everybody. I'm doing this every Wednesday. I'm doing it on Twitch. I post later on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts and basically anywhere you get a podcast. I'm doing that. So I appreciate everyone joining me. This is about the length of these podcasts that I want it to be. I want them to be about an hour. I think we had about 50 minutes this time. But about an hour is kind of really what I want to be. So especially when I cut off too, because I'm a big wrestling fan and Dynamite's about to come on in like 10 minutes. So that's nice. I hope everyone has a good week. I'll see you guys at Wednesday at 7. Have a good one.